Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. It is a rainy, overcast day in Toronto, but we're not in Toronto. We're down at the bottom end of Argentina. And today we're beginning a new series. This is our first flight of what will be a circumnavigation of the Atlantic Ocean. Today we are leaving at the bottom in Argentina. We're going to be flying up the Atlantic coast of South America, then North America, crossing over the top of the Atlantic Ocean over Greenland, and then coming back down on the eastern side through Europe and Africa till we're back down at the bottom of the Atlantic again. So on today's flight, we are flying from Rio Gallegos in southern Argentina up to Buenos Aires. So it should be a good flight. The weather is looking very nice down here, and small airports, but should be pretty good. We have looks like Kevin's flying with us, so it'll be a good flight. We're looking at a flight time of, let me just pull up the flight plan here, just over 3 hours gate to gate, but 2.5 hours or so in the air itself. Now we are in the FENIX A320. There's been reports of people saying that after the last sim update there's been some stuttering, and there is a fix out there, so we're going to watch, see if we get any stuttering, and if so we'll have to apply the fix and hopefully correct it. But time to get going, get on board the aircraft, and start getting her set up for the flight. Alright. So we are on board. Let's come down here. Cockpit preparations are complete. Parking brake is on. Ground power is connected. External power is on. Batteries are now coming on. And we can tell the passengers they can board.
Boarding requested. Do you want to board crew? Passengers bus is coming.
Right, the passengers are being bussed since we are sitting here without a gate, and we're on air stairs. And there's Kevin back there in the other parking bay at the back end in his Vareg 737. Alright, so with that done, we can come up top. We'll turn on the ADIRs. There's 1, 2, and 3 are all starting to align. EVAC sign is set to Captain Purser. We'll get the signs on in the back. Signs are on. Lights are currently on. We're going to turn up the panel lights so they're nice and bright for us. Shouldn't need any more than that, as it is a nice sunny day out here. Crew oxygen supply is coming on. Generators 1 and 2 are on fault. Packs 1 and 2 are on and in fault as well. And we'll do our engine fire test. First the APU. There's engine 1. And engine 2 is all good. So just do a quick check of the weather. It's only 9 degrees out, so it's going to be fairly cool. That is okay. We'll get the emergency lights on. Icing indicator and standby compass lights are on, and the cargo heat is set to low. So let's start getting everything all set up here. We'll come into FENIX. I'll bring in our flight plan. There we go. We're going to amend our departure time to 14:45 Zulu.
Passengers boarding starting.
Everybody's coming in. Yeah, Beluga, hi. Yeah, Innsbruck is a challenge. Which way did you come in, east or west? If you're coming in from the west, yeah, you're just slaloming down the thing there. It's down the valley. It's pretty cool. Alright, for today's flight we have 144 passengers on board, 3.1 tons of cargo and 10.2 tons of fuel. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to load the aircraft And I'm going to set instant. And then we're going to come back here and make sure these all stay up. I think it just removes the jetway, but we're not using the jetway, so loading will continue. As you can see, baggage and passengers coming in off the bus, so that is all good. So let's head over to the FMC and start getting that set up. Here's our preliminary load sheet. 08. Oh, you had some good turbulence? Oh, that's good. Let's get that door open on the front side. We'll come back over to our mass and balance, resend the load sheet so we have the proper numbers to play with as we put it in. So we'll accept that. So there we are, good to go. Clear the message. And come to the FMC. So database is current. We can come to our initialization. We'll request our flight plan. And there we go. We're heading up from Rio Gallegos to Buenos Aires. We are UKV 5556 as we are with these tours. Cost index of 25. And today we're going up to a cruise level of 370. We'll grab our wins. Well, glad you had a good flight. I mean, that's the big thing. As long as the flight works out well and everything is good. So let's get our numbers in here. We can come over. Our 028 is 58.7. These are our final numbers because I forced it to do it quickly since we're using GSX for loading. And 30.3 for our center of gravity. Let's get the slash in there. There we go. So fuel for today, 10.2. Yeah, we'll put that in as well. We can put in our reserve. Let me pull up my flight plan. Our reserve is 1.0. And that is all in. Yeah, we'll get up there by the time we're up and running. That's fine. All right, so that is in. Let's get our flight plan done. Flight plan for today. We are going to be departing off of runway 25. Departure 25, and we're going off on the IRAV 1 Gulf departure. So that is now in.
Thank you.
And we'll come, that's all looking good. We'll come to our arrival. I'm just going to do a quick weather check up in Rio right now. It is 240 at 5. So the runways probably what's the weather trending? Oh, it's supposed to be swinging around.
Good evening, ma'am. How are you?
It's kind of all over the place over the last little while, actually. I'm gonna set it up the way it's in my sim brief. We'll check the weather when we get a little bit closer. I have the ILS, or sorry, the RNAV for 17, and coming in on the Valov 8 Victor. And we'll leave it at that at the moment. It says in, and we're down. Just because, like I said, the weather seems to be flopping around, and there is apparently rain on the way in, although not until after we're there. So that could get a little bit iffy as to what the winds are. We'll check as we come in. So with that all done, we can actually do our performance now. We don't have to wait for the loading. So we come over to our performance. We'll come over here to our performance calculator, and we'll do our plan. So we are at SAWG. We are going on runway 25. Surface is dry. It will be a flaps 1 plus F. Packs will be on. We'll bring in the final load sheet weights. We'll bring in the current weather, and we will calculate. That gives us a 145, 144, or 154, 154, 156. So we'll enter that in. 154, 154, 156. And 0.2 up on the trim with a 60-degree flex. So it's 1 flaps and up 0.2 for the trim, and a 60-degree on the flex. So that is now set and good to go. We pop over to Roger's side. We have all the load sheets we need, and we can put him onto the flight plan for us. So it looks like the last of the bags are coming in. The passenger buses are heading out. Yeah, they're closing up the cargo, so we're getting close to being ready to go outside. So we'll grab the current weather. Hi, Kevin. So current weather is winds are 270 at 20 knots, a little bit windy down here in South America. Ceiling visibility okay, 9 degrees and 1011. So that is now set. We'll set it in the standby as well. Alright, looks like everything is done outside. They're pulling away. Stairs are closing, doors are closed. And everyone is backing off into position. That is fabulous.
We're ready to go when you are.
Oh, and the cabin is all secured.
Gentlemen, welcome aboard. This is your flight attendant.
So the altimeters are set.
Please be sure to make sure all
Transponder will leave set to 2000. PWS and GSC are now on.
If you have any trouble or need any
Fueling,
assistance,
loading, and
please
boarding
don't
are
hesitate to
done.
let a flight attendant know, and we would be happy
Fire up the APU
After
now.
you put your carry-on items in the overhead bin and it is full, make sure you close it as a courtesy to other passengers. Also be sure that the aisle is clear and sit down so that way other passengers can get by you. If you are seated in an emergency exit row, please review the exit
Takes
seating
that flap a little bit
responsibilities
longer on
and
this one
provided for you.
to come up than
Please
it does
ensure
on
that
the
you are
Neo.
able and willing to perform these actions. If you're not,
There
please let
she
a flight
goes.
attendant know so that way you can be reseated. Feel free to use your cell phones during the rest of the boarding process, but we do ask that laptops, tablets, and any other larger electronic
So there's an
devices are
aircraft
stored once
inbound, but he
you
hasn't departed
Thank
yet,
you, and
and
welcome
it's just the
aboard.
two of us outbound. There is no ATC on currently down here. That is fine. Now we are going to see if we can push onto this line over here. Not sure how well that's going to work,
Now
but
that the cabin
we will
door is
try it.
closed, please make sure that all devices are in airplane mode and
Waiting
your
for the
large
APU to
devices
come
are now
up.
shut down and stowed. Please fasten your seatbelt and make sure that all tray tables and seat backs are in a full upright and locked position for departure.
All right.
Flight attendants, please prepare
APU is
cabin
now
for departure and
available.
cross check.
We'll get the bleeds on. And generator is working, so external power can now be disconnected. We'll pop down here to our, nope, not that one. And ground services. So GPU is removed, chocks are removed. Takeoff data is set 154, 156 FCU. Let's see the departure. Yeah, it's basically a right turn at 1,000 feet, and then we head off on course. So we are going to set an initial of 15,000 feet. You see that right turn there. Flight directors are on both sides, and radials will come down here to 122.8. Turn it on. And we're about ready to go. So we'll get the beacon on. Fuel pumps are on. And we'll call for the tug. Again, we'll have to ignore the trucks that are parked in the area.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Alright, so they're going to go hook up down below. Let's see if the map is working today. We'll import the route and we'll bring up the map. There we go.
Departure checks completed. Bypass being inserted.
Alright, so that is working. That's fine. And we will turn off Rogers. So again, we'll see how they're doing. We want to come back here, but I don't know where it's going to put us. We do want to put our nose to the right. We'll see how it works with the angle here. Oh, looks like we got a company message, so we'll quickly come down, clear the message, reset the load sheet. That's fine. Put you back onto flight plan. And I'll be nose right, tail left.
Release parking brakes, please.
All right. Rio Gallegos area traffic.
Release parking brakes.
Skyways 5556. Push and start. Gate 1.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at wing.
All right. So we're starting to push. Let's see where we end up. Ignition mode to start. Starting engine number 2.
Rio Gallegos traffic, we're going to Tango Section 10, over.
We'll see if we got to do the stop here command. I think Kevin probably taxis straight out. Not doing too bad if it swings me around onto the line here. Very nicely done. Oh, that's a lovely retro livery you've got going there, Kevin. And it looks like we're going to stop. Eventually. When you're ready.
Please set parking brakes.
Wrap the straps around your waist and buckle at the front. Pull the straps tightly.
Starting engine 1.
Place the vest, pull firmly on the red cord only when exiting the aircraft. If your life vest does not inflate automatically,
Alright, that push
pull
worked
to the
well.
mouthpieces for manual inflation. Each vest is equipped with a whistle and light. If necessary, your seat cushion can be used as a secondary flotation device. Please securely stow all personal items. Make sure your seatbelts are fastened and seat backs and tray tables are all in their full upright position.
Give that
We
engine
remind you
a
that this
listen
is
as we
non-smoking
crank her up.
flight, and that includes vaping. tampering with, disabling, or destroying the smoke detectors located in the lavatories is strictly prohibited by law. All of this information and more
And we can see Kevin back there. If we take a look, there's the nose of his 737.
If you have any questions. Thank you for flying with us, and we...
All right. Looks like everything is up and going properly, so we have good engine start.
We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Alright, generators 1 and 2 are both online. Ignition mode selector to normal. Probe heat is auto. Anti-ice not required. Packs 1 and 2 are up and online. Flaps 1 plus F selected. Trim 0.2 up. So we'll go over to flight controls page. 0.2 up selected. It's full left, full right, neutral, full forward, full back, neutral, full left rudder, right rudder, neutral. APU bleeds and APU coming off. FCP is set. Engine instruments are checked. Engage the tiller. Nose wheel steering is back. Taxi light can come on. Auto brakes set to max. And she should be doing the walkout. There she is. Tug's moving out of the way. And there's the thing. The nose wheel steering pin. Big thumbs up, and she's gonna wave, and she's gone. Rio Gallegos area traffic, Skyways 5556, taxiing runway 25 via apron, Charlie, holding short, Delta. Alright, so brakes are released. Start moving. Oops. Come down here, turn on our transponder.
Rio Gallegos traffic, Falcon 9 Tango is following the Skyways 245.
Speed brakes are armed. TO config check is good. Gonna make the right turn. And we'll head down for the end of the runway now. And we should see we're being followed. There he is. Hope to make it down here one day. One of my dream trips is to head down to the Antarctic. So we'd actually leave from a bit further south down in Ushuaia. But definitely part of the world I have not seen is South America. So as we're taxiing down, if you're watching, please consider subscribing, clicking that like bell, hitting the bell for notifications and all that good stuff. But more importantly, if you do fly in Flight Sim, either X-Plane or Microsoft Flight Simulator, and you want to join in on these flights, especially the VATSIM ones, you're more than welcome to do so. All my live streams are community flights, and people are welcome to join up. If you come over to the Discord, links are in the descriptions, you can get all the information on what we're flying and where and when and all that good stuff. But you're welcome to come in and fly with us around the world. Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays are currently on VATSIM, and Wednesdays and Sundays are on the multiplayer. So they're a little bit more relaxed as we do our things. So yeah, Wednesday multiplayer is vintage aircraft, and Sunday multiplayer is cargo operations. So they're a little bit more relaxed, and then of course we have VATSIM flying the airliners on the other Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday flights. So you're more, like I said, you're more than welcome to come along and join in. Description has the link to the Discord, and you are more than welcome to come along. And if you don't want to fly with us, but you have questions about either the aircraft or the sim or the airports or whatever, you can ask us on the Discord. We have lots of knowledgeable people. Sure, they'll be able to give you a hand and help you figure it out. Alright, so we are at runway 25. We're holding short. Pre-departure V speeds are set 154, 156. FCP is set. Nav data is good. Radios are tuned. So nose light goes to takeoff. Landing lights are on. Runway turn-off lights are on. Wing lights are on. Strobe lights are on. Ding the back, so they're aware we're here. TCAS is on. Weather radar is on. And we are set at 10. He is set at 40, and everything is good. Runway is identified. Rio Gallegos area traffic, Skyways 5556 taking position, runway 25. Alright, we're going to move out into position. Hear that wind howling? It's going to be a little bit of a crosswind, but shouldn't be too bad. $10 degrees, if anything. Nose around, get her lined up nice and straight. There we go. All right, we are ready for takeoff. So brakes are set, engines coming up to 40%. Rio Gallegos area traffic, Skyways 5556, rolling runway 25 on the Iravu departure to the north. Alright, brakes released. Manflex SRS and runway enabled. Auto throttle blue. Let's start the clock.
Rio Gallegos traffic, very good night, Tango, taking position 25, 42 minutes first separation, back right.
It's V1 rotate. Nice and gentle climb. Positive rate. Gear up. Speed brakes disarmed. A 1,000 feet, we'll turn on the autopilot. Climbing out nicely. It's 900. There's 1,000. Autopilot 1 is on. And we're making our turn now. Alright, turn off lights are off, wing lights are off, nose lights off. So we're going to keep an eye out for stuttering in the FENIX here, see if we're affected by that issue that people are talking about. That looks okay so far. There's our turn. And climb power set. Thrust climb. We're now accelerating. That's us through transition, so over to standard pressure. And through S speed, so slats retracted and flaps.
Rio Gallegos traffic light, I think we're rolling number 25 on the level 1 gas connection. Mark.
Accelerating to 250 knots. And there's Kevin rolling down there. And he is up. So our journey around the Atlantic has commenced. And we should see some pretty interesting airports on this trip. Alright, I'm going to clear us right up to our cruise level of 370. We just got over 1,100 miles to go, so only a couple hours of flying time. And everything is looking good so far. $7,700 feet. Looking for 10,000. There's 9,800. It's 10,000 feet. The landing lights can come off. I'm gonna turn off the seatbelt signs in the back. There's the coast.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now passing through 10,000 feet. You can now turn on your larger portable electronic devices. As a reminder, please keep your seatbelt fastened while you are seated and do not congregate in the galleys or near the lavatory. This aircraft is equipped with onboard Wi-Fi. If you wish to connect to the Wi-Fi, you'll be directed to a page to pay a small fee for internet access. We do offer complimentary in-flight TV.
Alright, we'll scale out on our
Connect to the
ND.
Wi-Fi and you'll be able to access our wide range of free live TV and case movies library.
And we're accelerating to our high speed for our high altitude climb.
The flight crew has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. You can knock it up and move around the cabin. However, we ask that you keep your seatbelt fastened when seated in case of unexpected turbulence.
And it looks like a beautiful day for flying. You can see the coastline here. We're going to be kind of flying up along the coast, about crossing over islands and little pieces of land that juts out. So we're going to take up a position on the left side of the aircraft because that'll give us a good view of the landscape going by. as we're flying along here. So, once we hit 20,000 feet, we'll settle into the back. Just reaching our high-speed cruise, so we're nosing up again to start climbing. And we're going to work our way up to our cruise flight level. Clear a couple messages here so we can pop down and just make sure everything is looking good. So if we use the lower ECAM here, engines are good on both sides, air bleeds are good, temperatures are fine, a little bit warm, but that's fine. Let's turn them down slightly. There we go. To turn them down a little bit, so it should bring those temperatures down slightly. Bleed air is fine. Everything is looking good there. Pressurization is working fine. Electrics are all good. Both engine generators are working. They're not even at a quarter load, so that's all good. Hydraulics are good. Fuel is good. APU is off. We checked the air. That's all set now with our temperatures. Doors are confirmed and closed, and we are pressurizing. Wheel temperatures are good. Flight control surfaces are all good. And there is our page. So we are good and settled in. So let's move to our window seat. We'll bring up our in-flight map. Which will shrink down. There we go. We'll hide that. And we'll get the in-flight entertainment ready as well. So as we're crossing on our way up to our cruise level, sit back, enjoy the flight, take advantage of the in-flight entertainment and the services on board, and we will be back talking with you as we get ready for our briefing and descent. Other than that, I will be in the chat, and I'm going to go throw the kettle on and have my morning cup of tea. So we'll talk to you in a bit as we get ready to descend into Buenos Aires.
Really gets it. I take what I want and I want what I take. We take what we want and we want what we take for her pirates of the liquid treasure. If we see any gold, we steal it away, robbing widows and orphans of pleasure. We fight with our mates and we Basta, you lubbers! Man, our fortune's made. I've got the goose that lays the golden egg. Be the anchor. We're going places. Oh, we take what we want and we want what we take for her pirates out hunting for treasure. If we see any gold, we steal it away, robbing widows and orphans of pleasure. We fight with our mates and we hunt and shoot. We're mean and we're bad with our hats to our boots. We take what we want and we want what we take for her pirates out hunting for treasure.
Poor Goldie, poor Goldie, what'll I do? What'll I do?
Come on now, what a dozen eggs. You better hurry up with those eggs. All right then, I'll help myself.
I won't forget that morning, not if I live to be 100. I counted the men as they marched out of the yard. They'd hardly slept for weeks. We at the CID had slept even less, but the nightmare that kept us awake was all the same nightmare. That's why we weren't surprised when the commissioner asked us up to the conference room for a bit of a talk. He'd talked to us plenty, we knew that. It didn't help any to know what was ahead of us.
Must we have that window open, Gregson? Oh, shut it if you want to. Seems to be in enough of a temper without having a ruddy blast down the back of his neck. Gentlemen, the commissioner. Stuffy in here. Be seated, won't you? Gentlemen, if you wish to know what able men you are, read any of the works of popular fiction that glamorize your achievements, but don't, I beg of you, read the daily papers. They might give you an inferiority complex. I hate to mention it. But we're confronted with a series of the most atrocious murders since Jack the Ripper. And in the meantime, the CID might as well be playing at shove halfpenny for all the good we've accomplished. Now look. Here, and here. Each of these red flags scattered through the city stands for a woman brutally murdered, a woman's terror, a woman's death agony. These are no ordinary crimes. These are the works of a fiend who kills first and mutilates afterwards. A ghoul who hacks off a part of his victim body and carries it away with him, a loathsome souvenir of his butchery. 3 women murdered so far, and you haven't turned in one clue. You haven't given me one lead. Here you sit and wait for news of a 4th victim, with your arms folded.
Well, we hadn't long to wait. It was down Lambeth Way where a young woman was hurrying home late last night. She saw something and stopped. It was a constable. He spoke to her and he walked along with her, just in case. He saw her go down the stairway to the basement lodging where she lived. I can only surmise what happened after that. Pride in my pocket and went to see the man who so often helped out Inspector Lestrade and myself in the past, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. If ever a man needed help, I did.
This makes 4, Inspector. 4 defenseless women here in the heart of London. And every one with the right forefinger hacked off. Not hacked, Inspector Gregson. Cleanly, expertly severed. The work of a skilled surgeon. That's our only clue.
Much about the age of my sister's girl. Is there no way of stopping this, Mr. Holmes?
Yes. There's a way, somehow. People that did this.
Nothing to go on, that's the rotten part of it. We can't get far without knowing the motive.
Well, at least we know what the motives were not. It wasn't robbery. No passion, thanks be, nor yet vengeance. Because they all came of totally unrelated families. Steady, Inspector, steady.
Sorry, Mr. Holmes. I don't turn a hair when it's a bloke that can look after himself. A little slip of a thing like that.
Yes, it's horrible. Come on, let's get a drink. Evening, Mr. Holmes. Evening, Vincent. Whiskey and soda, please, and a double for my friend here, Inspector Griggs.
Very good, sir. Make mine Irish. Decent of you to give me a hand with this thing, Mr. Holmes.
Always a pleasure to be of help to Scotland Yard, Inspector.
Little out of my line. Looking for a maniac. That is just for the fun of it.
Or perhaps just to get a human finger. All 4 cases. Murderer is a capture. I stop him to secure a finger. What 4?
Who knows? He's just a madman.
Perhaps there's method in his madness. A chance to trace those missing fingers.
If we could just drain the English Channel, we might find a penny.
Well, thank you. You may keep those, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you. Sir George FENIX, isn't it?
Yes.
That his daughter with him.
Don't be so naive, Inspector.
You know everyone, don't you, darling?
Well, hardly. A week ago, I didn't know you.
A week. How fast it's gone.
I collect these things.
How very quaint of you.
Shall we go?
Yes.
What are you looking at, Mr. Holmes?
Looking at a very handsome woman. Not fond of purple, but giving an excellent imitation.
Would you like to come to my flat for a nightcap?
Lovely idea.
Yes.
I wonder where she's taking us, George FENIX.
Don't be so naive, Mr. Holmes.
Good evening, Mom.
Hello, Grandon. Any messages?
No, Mom.
Thank you. Drinks, Grandon. One of your nice surprises.
Yes, Mom.
I say, you don't mean that...
Grandon's a marvel, aren't you, Grandon?
Yes, Mom.
You wouldn't believe the things she can do.
Ah, charming place. Delightful.
Really? You think so? I'm so glad. Do sit down.
Do I mind? What a question. I don't mind anything, really. Except not being with you.
No, you really don't want me to believe that, do you?
Not too seriously.
Good. We're both quite grown up, aren't we?
Quite.
In a few moments, we'll be starting our in-flight service. We will be serving complimentary drinks and snacks. Please look in your seat back for our list of complimentary and premium drinks. Premium drinks are available for a small charge. If you wish to make an additional purchase, please note that we only accept credit cards.
I prefer a more flattering light.
In any light you'd be. And don't you know it?
Perhaps I do. Oh, that priceless woman. You wouldn't believe it, but she's absurdly romantic. She loves dreamy music, and she thinks that we...
But you do, don't you? Well, it's rather soothing. Restful.
Yes. And we all need rest at times. Like tired children playing together.
that for years.
Toy boats were my special joy. Anything I could set afloat anywhere. Like this. And this. Toy boats sailing into the Never Never Land. Land of beautiful dreams. Look. Look hard, isn't it, how the light is reflected? Little specks of light that move. Like stars on a slowly moving stream.
You know, Holmes, I'm very sensitive to atmosphere.
Oh?
Yes, I can tell by the feel of this room there's been a murder committed here.
It may interest you to know, my dear fellow, it was the other side of that door at the foot of the stairs that the poor girl was murdered. Only I could find it.
Find what?
The one thing these unfortunate victims have in common that might give us a motive for these murders. There must be something.
Another Jack the Ripper, if you ask me, a homicidal maniac.
No, Watson. In the case of Jack the Ripper, there was one thing in common. His victims were all from one walk of life, living in the same section of the city. In this case, the murderer chooses his victims from all walks of life and from different sections of the city. No, my dear fellow, this is not the work of a homicidal maniac. Something infinitely more sinister.
The creeps. What are you talking about?
Watson, I'm convinced that these murders are only incidental to some larger and more diabolical scheme.
Maybe, but why the severed fingers?
The answer to that question, my dear fellow, is our only hope of solving these mysteries.
Yes, sister, I am so happy. I had such a lovely holiday at Brighton with you and Alf. I'm looking forward to being with you again. Poor thing. Sort of raises a lump in your throat. I can picture her sitting here happily writing this letter, and a lot bit realizing that she's shortly going to her death. Hello? Gregson?
Oh, there you are, Mr. Holmes. I've been looking for you everywhere.
What's happened?
Murder in Edgeware Road, about half an hour ago.
Woman?
Yes. The right forefinger cut off clean.
Another of those horrible murders.
Dear, dear, how shocking.
Yes, Mom. I really don't feel quite safe here myself.
Why, Sir George!
I must see Miss Marlowe at once.
I don't know if she...
I must see her. Where is she? Lydia.
Why, Sir George, what is it? What happened?
I don't know. You'll have to help me. You've got to help me.
But I don't understand.
Listen. I woke up a few minutes ago in a cheap boarding house off Edgware Road. I don't know how I came there. I don't know when. The last thing I remember is being here with you.
Calm yourself, Sir George.
When did I leave here?
Well, it was about...
It was 10:45, Mum. Precisely.
You seemed, forgive me, just a little distressed. there is such a thing as amnesia, you know.
It was 10:45 when I left you. It was 9 this morning when I woke. 10 hours lost. 10 hours that I can't account for. And in my pocket when I woke I found... Yeah, in my pocket. That is...
Oh, it's not for you, of course. It can't be.
Excuse me, Mum, but there's a man asking to see the gentleman.
Send him away.
Yes, Mum.
No, please. I'll see him. Well, delightful room. Not much like the place you woke up in this morning. Followed me here? Yes. Are you a detective? Oh, no. Quite the contrary. Don't be afraid, Sir George. You know my name? Oh, yes. A very old and highly honored name. And being the bearer of such a name, and also a very wealthy man, I thought you might care to possess yourself of this trifle, rather than let it fall into the hands of the police. It is yours, if I'm not mistaken. The initials, GM. Where did you get this? It came out of your pocket. I saw it fall, but you never noticed. You were very busy, bending over something. With a knife. Then you put something in your pocket.
Come along. Have no more toasters, I tell you. You're missing a treat. This is delicious. Little jam tarts to follow. Aren't you tempted?
You and your flesh pots.
They tell me that fish is good for the brain.
Brains haven't any. You realize that a day, a whole day and a night have gone by since that festive affair in Edgware Road? As much in the dark as ever. Unless I'm very much mistaken.
Oh, attractive. Very attractive.
Obviously, she left home under the stress of some very great emotion.
How do you know that?
She isn't wearing any gloves. A startling omission in the young lady fashion.
No, she didn't put her coat on. Open car, too.
Something in that bag she wants to show me.
What makes you say that?
The bag doesn't match her dress. Indicating it was picked for size rather than style. It accommodates some bulky object.
Sure. Amaze me, Holmes.
Only went to an info. Oh, that's interesting.
What is?
A cab. Turning at the empty house.
Oh, wouldn't you?
I mustn't have the glasses.
So now, yes, Mrs. Hudson.
It's a young lady, sir. Most urgent.
Ask her to come in.
Go right in, miss.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes, this is my friend, Dr. Watson.
How do you do? Mr. Holmes, you must excuse me, please.
Yes, well, won't you sit down?
Come along.
May I? It's quite all right. Thank you. Now try to control yourself. It's very good with friends.
You know my name?
No magic, I assure you. I've often seen your picture. You're the daughter of Sir George, very, can't you?
Yes. It's about my father that I...
What about your father, Miss FENIX?
Oh, I don't know what to do. He's always been the nicest, dearest person. Only since Mother died.
Yes, we know.
So I didn't think anything of it when he was away all night before last. But he didn't come home until yesterday at tea time. Didn't come in for dinner at all. Just paced up and down in the library hour after hour. I begged him to let me in, but he wouldn't.
Steady. Now take your time.
I couldn't sleep a wink last night. Then I started hearing things.
Hearing things? What sort of things?
I heard someone in the garden underneath my window. Then I saw a figure moving down the garden path. And I recognized my father. Stealing through his own garden like a thief. He had a spade in his hand, and he stopped by the greenhouse where he started to dig. This morning, at daybreak, I stole out into the garden and found this.
Human finger. Bring up Scotland Yard, will you, Watson? Ask them to get hold of Inspector Gregson and tell him to meet us at once at George FENIX's house, Kingston.
Operator, get the Scotland Yard quick.
Where's my father, Doris?
He's still in the library, miss.
Thank you. We'll see him right away. Will you come with me, please?
Thank you. I got your message, Mr. Hall. Yes, indeed.
Dad, may I come in? Dad. Somebody does notes?
Mind?
Please do.
Thank you. Watson, quick.
Oh.
Come on,
No.
Take charge, Miss FENIX, please.
Senator, now, Miss, please.
Come along with me.
Dead?
Yes. What do you make of it, Doctor?
Shot in the back between the second and third ribs. The bullet undoubtedly had penetrated the heart. Look at the powder marks on his coat.
I'm afraid of this. What do you mean? Don't you remember the man in the cab who followed Miss FENIX to Baker Street?
Well, you don't think he had anything to do with it, do you?
I think it's reasonable to assume that he tipped off someone that I'd been sent for. Sir George has obviously been murdered to keep him from telling me what he knew. What was the weapon used?
Small caliber revolver, point blank range.
The murderer came in through those French windows. The mud from the garden he brought in his boots. Sir George must have surprised the intruder. Passed the room to him here. Colors we can't tell, but from the location of the wound, I'd say that he turned his back for a moment, and as he turned, the muzzle of the revolver was placed between his ribs and one muffled shot fired.
You mean to say he kept on going, even after he was shot?
There's no doubt about it. Look there. The trail of blood leads us back to the desk. Something Sir George was after. Something.
I know. He was trying to summon help, Butcher.
I don't think so, Watson. There's the bell pull by the fireplace. No, you'll notice from the trail of blood, Sir George made straight for this desk here. I wonder, it was something he was desperately anxious to get. Hello? His right hand's clenched.
Perfectly natural. Death agony.
The left hand lies open. Why only one hand clenched in the death agony? The right hand, the hand nearest the desk. Please note that. Sir George took something off this desk. Something so important that he spilled his last drop of blood to get it. I want to know what it is.
Nothing but an ordinary match folder.
Where does that lead us?
I imagine to something very important, Gregson. This match folder's from Pembroke House.
Why shouldn't it be? He was there, you know. We saw him yesterday.
Yes, but the effort he made after he was shot to get hold of this match folder. It's just possible he wanted someone to remember Pembroke House. He may have wished to recall it to someone who saw him there. Someone who, like like ourselves, saw him with a woman.
Come in.
Oh, Dr. Watson, this came by hand for Mr. Holmes not 10 minutes ago.
Thank you, Mrs. Hudson.
That would be the report from Mr. George's bank.
What? Oh, really?
Don't you remember his daughter told us that he'd just closed his account? And he looked into it once. He drew out his entire balance in cash, nearly £10,000, yesterday, just after that young woman was murdered. What does that suggest to you, Watson?
He paid it out to someone.
Precisely. I smelled a faint, sweet odor of blackmail.
You don't think he paid it out to someone who saw him murder the McLean woman?
Sir George never murdered anyone.
But he did have that woman's finger, and he empty did have and pay out a lot of cash.
That's the terrifying part about blackmail, Watson. The victim is afraid to fight the accusation, no matter how false. Once the accusation is made, the name is smeared, sometimes his life is ruined.
Well, if George didn't commit these murders, what fiend did?
I rather think they're not the work of any one man.
Oh, come, Holmes. You don't expect me to believe it's a whole organization going about killing people and chopping off their fingers.
That's possible, quite possible.
Well, whoever's behind all this thing must be out of his mind.
On the contrary, my dear fellow, if my assumptions are correct, this little scheme has behind it the most brilliant and ruthless intellect the world has ever known.
You don't mean Professor Moriarty?
I do.
Steady, Holmes, you've got him on the brain. This is the third time in as many months you've suspected him of unsolved crimes. He's dead, you know.
Is he?
Is he? No, he is. He was hanged in Montevideo well over a year ago.
I know that someone was hanged in Montevideo under that name. But I'll stake my reputation that Moriarty is alive and here, now, in London. Hello? Yes, but Dr. Watson, wait a minute.
Me? No, yes? This is Dr. Watson speaking. No, I'm afraid I've retired. I don't practice anymore. What? Oh, that's a different thing. An emergency case. Well, just a minute. Yes? Yes, well, see, she's not moved. Remember that? Don't touch her till I get there. Fractured kiss in McCardle's Muse. Heavy woman. 14 stone. Oh. 14 stone. Just the sort of person who would hoist herself up on a stool to feed the canary. There ought to be a law against fat people. Keep it from dicky birds. Well, so long, old man. I shan't be very long. Even's dead. Bag since I brought little Amelia. What's her name in the world? Grew up to be an attractive child. Well, who wouldn't with a name like Amelia? What Amelia? Amelia. Stupid about it.
Professor Moriarty. Not that I wish to appear inquisitive, but to what am I indebted for the pleasure of this visit? Scotland Yard will be interested. It's very convenient for me to have Scotland Yard think that I'm still dead in Montevideo. I never dreamed of fooling you. Thank you. The thought occurs to me, Mr. Holmes, that there are some advantages of living within the law. You're very comfortably fixed here, aren't you? As I get on in life, the little comforts appeal to me more and more. Oh, I beg your pardon. Won't you sit down? Thank you. And now, Professor Moriarty, what can I do for you? Everything that I have to say to you has already crossed your mind. And my answer has no doubt crossed yours. That's final. What do you think? I shall not rest until you are hanged for the finger murders. No proof, you know. No, not a shred. But I have you. I could turn you over to the police here and now. You could. But if you did, you would never see Dr. Watson again. Oh, the telephone call. Right. I rather assumed you had taken some such precaution. Or I should have snatched up a revolver and indulged in a fit of heroics when you came in. Very smart, aren't you? Not smart enough, or I should have anticipated you. But if any harm comes to Dr. Watson, I shall seek you out. I shall not rest until I find you, and when I do, no harm will come to Dr. Watson this time. But I can't answer for the future. Mr. Holmes, I should strongly advise you to drop this case. Don't be silly. Think it over. We've had many encounters in the past. You hope to place me on the gallows. I tell you I shall never stand up on the gallows. But if you are instrumental in any way in bringing about my destruction, you will not be alive to enjoy your satisfaction. We shall walk together through the gates of eternity, hand in hand. What a charming picture that would make us, wouldn't it? And I really think it might be worth it.
Shoelaces, Governor? Tons of pair. And strong enough to hang yourself.
How many more times must I tell you I don't want your filthy shoelaces or your company?
Shoelaces, Governor?
Nasty impertinence. Run along, my good man, or I'll give you in charge.
Shoelaces, Governor? Shoelaces, Governor? You're a poor bloke. What's only got one arm? Any luck with Mr. Holmes?
You can read his obituary in tomorrow's papers. Oh, there you are, Watson. Come in. I was, just going out to look for you.
Look for me what for? Suppose you don't think I know my way about. Well, you're right, I don't. Blast all practical jokers anyhow. Know where I've been?
A wild goose chase.
Exactly. There's no such number in McCardle's Muse. Some fool's idea of a joke.
Did you see anyone?
No, nobody especially. Only a whining old idiot selling bookcases.
Assistant beggar, wasn't he? Stuck to you like grim death.
Oh, how do you know?
Finally left you for someone who looked like Philip Pickings. Someone, my dear Watson, was Professor Moriarty himself.
What?
He's just called on me.
Moriarty here and you let him go? But you must be out of your mind. Why?
Well, he bluffed me into believing that he was holding a friend of mine as hostage.
Friend of yours who?
Oh, nobody very important, just a fat, lazy fellow. Medical man, I believe.
Medical man? Do I know him?
Yes, I think you do. A fellow by the name of Watson.
Watson, never heard. Who, me?
I'm afraid so, old fellow. Your street hawker's job was to do away with you in a certain contingency.
And you let Moriarty go? Because of me?
I had no choice. Can't afford to lose you, old fellow.
Well, it's a decent of the old chap, I must say, but... well, I wish you'd nabbed him.
We shall, never fear. I know the motive for the finger murders. All I have to find out now is the method used with the blackmail victims.
Method?
Yes. How does Moriarty get them to the scene of the crime? How does he plant those severed fingers on them? And how does he scare them into believing that, they may have committed those atrocious murders themselves? Curious. Very curious.
Curious?
That window in the empty house across the street. First floor front.
What's wrong with it?
It's open.
Why shouldn't it be open?
It wasn't open half an hour ago. I'll stake my life on that.
Oh, it's not our business. Let it stay open.
I wonder if you'd go over, old fellow, and see what's the matter.
Trespassing. Against the law.
Very well, I'll go myself.
Well, if you're going to put it like that, ridiculous waste of time. Think about shutting windows at this hour of the night.
Yeah, you better take this torch.
Well, take what? Dignified job for a doctor. Dr. Watson, the torchbearer. And what do you propose to do? Sit in a comfortable chair, I suppose, and read a good book.
That's a very good idea.
Yes, very good idea. While I play night watchman, you have a nice read.
Good night, have a good time.
Oh, umbrella stand. Pretty little thing to keep about the house. Must have been a pet. Sits comfortably reading a book. He killed Holmes! He killed Sherlock!
What?
You? And I saw him shoot you a second ago.
Not me, my dear fellow. Merely the bust of Julius Caesar. Incidentally, you may have noticed that all through the ages, prominent men have prominent noses. Oh, afraid we're in for terrible trouble again with Mrs. Hudson. Window smashed, glass all over the floor. Get up, you.
Corporal Williams, Middlesex Regiment. Discharged from the army as physically unfit. Yeah. Papers seem in order.
Now, Corporal Williams. You've seen service in the Far East, haven't you? The East? I thought so. Look at his complexion, Watson. Yellow as saffron. He's been taking atopine. Cure for malaria. Sniper, aren't you?
Sniper?
Why did you try to kill me?
I had to kill him. I had to.
Oh, snap out of it.
Stop it, Watson.
He's shamming.
No, he isn't. Who told you to kill me?
She told me.
She told you?
She told me I couldn't miss.
Well, luckily you did miss, you murderer.
He isn't a murderer, Watson. Listen, Corporal Williams. She told you you had to do it, didn't she?
I had to do it.
I've got it, Watson, I've got it.
Got what?
The method used in the finger murders.
Well, what is it?
Hypnotism, my dear fellow, hypnotism. It wasn't against his nature, that's the devilish part of it. They picked a man for their purpose whose job was sniping. Who are they? Professor Moriarty and his finger murderers. Williams, asked him home tonight for a drink. Nice quiet rooms, soft lights, music.
You've got it all pat, Mr. Holmes. What's the lady look like?
30, nice figure, blonde, lustrous eyes.
Really? Got a phone number?
Williams will give us her address. Look after him, Gregson. Don't let anyone come near him. He's our key witness in the finger murders.
Well, I hope you're guessing right, Mr. Holmes.
Get up, Williams. Now, go with Inspector Gregson anywhere he tells you.
Come on.
Ring me as soon as he comes to himself, will you?
I will. Good night, gentlemen.
Good night.
Well, if you believe that fellow Williams was hypnotized, I suppose you think Sir George FENIX was hypnotized too.
Yes, I'm quite sure of it. Have a cup of tea?
Thanks, old boy. Nothing to eat. Why didn't these people make Sir George do the murder himself?
Because they didn't want to get him hanged. They wanted to blackmail him.
Who do you think the actual murderer is?
Moriarty's gang. A diabolically simple technique. Kill a woman.
Yes, but why cut off the fingers?
My dear fellow, don't you understand? The severed finger is what links the blackmail victim to the murder. He wakes, finds the grisly thing in his pocket. Doesn't know how it got there. He's no idea that he's been hypnotized. For all he knows, he may have committed the atrocious crime during some dreadful lapse of sanity.
In that state, when he's utterly demoralized, the blackmailers take over. Is that it?
Undoubtedly. You see, they swear that they saw him commit the murder. And, being human, the victim will pay anything rather than stand trial on a charge that will make his very name loathsome.
All fits in, if you believe in hypnotism.
The only possible explanation.
Do you think the hypnotist is that woman with the blonde hair, the lustrous eyes, the woman you invented?
I didn't invent her. I saw her.
What are you talking about?
That woman, my dear Watson, was with Sir George when he left Pembroke House. I saw her there. I shall see her again, and Williams will lead me to her. That's why it's so important to keep him safe. He will identify her. Hello? Yes? Inspector Gregson? What? Well, get every constable in the district. Yes, I'll be over at once.
What's happened, Holmes?
Williams is missing.
Great Scott!
Come on. Lorry crashed into Gregson's car. During the confusion, Williams disappeared.
Escaped, eh?
No, kidnapped. To keep him from talking when he came to.
You don't think that Moriarty...
Moriarty? Anything is possible. Williams! Dead. You see? Anything is possible.
Good morning, Professor Moriarty. You startled me. I'm dressing another dolly, a dear little nurse. Is there anything wrong with your finger?
Just a splinter.
Nasty things, splinters. Most trying. One can't be too careful. But I'll get it out for you. I have the very instrument to help you. Sharp enough to split a hair.
Put those tools away until they're needed.
But they're not tools, sir. They're instruments.
Put them away. Is Lydia in?
Yes. Really, you should let me.
Get dressed. Holmes and Watson just left Baker Street for the Mesmer Club.
Mesmer Club? The meeting place of all the top hypnotists in London. Do you suppose that Mr. Holmes is onto our method?
If he suspects, it's merely a suspicion. It's our business to see that it ends there.
I hope you're right.
Williams passed away before he could talk, remember?
What do you want me to do?
Go to the Mesmer Club, meet Holmes, and induce him to come back here.
Isn't that a bit dangerous?
Every meeting with Sherlock Holmes is potentially dangerous. However, you say he didn't see your face at Pembroke House.
And how would you suggest I get Mr. Holmes to accompany me here? Kidnap him?
Oh, no. Holmes has one weakness. His insatiable curiosity. If you can arouse that, you can lead him anywhere. It's up to you to take advantage of any opportunity that may arise.
This way, please, gentlemen. I'll tell Dr. Onslow that you're here.
Thank you.
This is the Mesmer Club. If you ask me, hypnotism's a lot of mumbo-jumbo.
Oh, come now, Watson. As a medical man, you must admit that hypnotism has its place in modern science.
That may be, but 90% of hypnotists are crooks of the worst kind. Nothing more than a lot of charlatans exploiting weak-willed morons.
Ah, Dr. Onslow, I believe.
Happy to meet you, Mr. Holmes. Your brother Mycroft suggested I might be of help to you. He's a valued member of our little group of charlatans and crooks.
Pardon, sir, I didn't know you were listening.
My friend, Dr. Watson.
Oh, delighted. Wonder now, you see, we're in the midst of a little experimental session at this very moment. If you'd care to join us.
Certainly.
That'd be very instructive.
Oh, well, will you follow me?
Thank you.
In treating this patient, today the therapeutic value of hypnotism, as we now call it, is conceded by innumerable physicians. Especially is it of value in surgical cases where the administration of local or of general anesthetic is inadvisable.
Inadvisable poppycock.
For the sake of latecomers, I may say that I have placed this subject under profound hypnosis. In this condition, he can feel no pain, even under applications which normally would be excruciating.
Excruciating?
Excuse me, please.
Carter, you are having a peaceful sleep. You feel nothing. Your arms and your hands are without sensation. Mowbray, the long needle. Carter, give me your right hand. As you observe, the needle has been thrust completely through the subject's hand. No feeling, no pain. This lack of feeling is the one infallible test of profound hypnosis.
Nonsense. Fellow's full of drugs. Oh, isn't he?
Definitely not, Doctor.
Wake up, Carter, wake up. Feel well and rested, remember. No pain anywhere. Wake up, wake up.
I say, when are you going to begin?
All through, Carter. Stand up.
This way, sir.
And, these all the people that come here?
Oh, no. Others keep dropping in all the time.
I suppose it's all right for those who believe in it, but of course, I'm a professional man myself.
Then you don't believe in hypnotism, Dr. Watson?
I don't deny that there are certain types of hysterical, feeble-minded people who go on if you point your finger at them. But anyone with an ounce of character.
How right you are. You see right through our little artifices, don't you, Doctor?
Right through, my dear sir. Right through.
Right so. But with the feeble-minded, as you say, excuse us, Mr. Holmes.
Certainly.
Step over here, won't you?
Certainly, sir. Anything to oblige.
Let me show you how easily we charlatans take advantage of them. Now, sit down, Doctor. Now, we set a thing like this in. It's wonderful, the attraction on the feeble-minded, of course. The continuous motion, if they just let themselves follow it. Of course, you could stare at it till doomsday, Dr. Watson, with no effect at all. Still, it might make you a little drowsy, like the white ribbon of road at night when you're driving. The rhythm is smooth, unbroken, and the road goes on and on, round and round, always the same, winding and winding, and you're drowsy, You're tired. Let the road come into you, as it were. The long road, the smooth road, the road to sleep. Open your eyes. Stand up. Turn around. And now, Dr. Watson, you're on a holiday in Scotland. The country is amazingly beautiful. We're coming to a stream. It isn't deep. Better take your shoes and socks off. Roll up your trouser. That will do. The other leg is waterproof. Turn around. Mind the pedals. Sit down. Wake up now.
I see. What I tell you, it didn't work with me. Why, nobody with an ounce of character.
I think you'll need these.
Nothing to laugh at. Watson, she's here. Oh, the woman you're looking for? Yes, I'm going to meet her. Perhaps I can induce her to take me to Moriarty. Do you think it's wise, Holmes? It may not be wise, but it's essential. After all, I've helped men with Moriarty in the past. But isn't it dangerous? She might be a hypnotist. My will isn't stronger than hers. I deserve to be hypnotized.
I feel I must protest, Dr. Onslow. I was told this was a gathering of serious students of a great science, and I find myself in a company of buffoons.
Oh, my dear madam.
Elliot's and Esdale Brain. Were those men martyrs for the truth, that you may laugh over your childish, cruel tricks?
I must say I'm in complete agreement with you, madam. This was a most unnecessary performance, Dr. Onslow.
Beg your pardon, sir.
My name is Holmes, Sherlock Holmes. At your service, madam.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. I'm afraid I've created a rather embarrassing situation. But you see, I'm interested in the serious study of hypnotism.
So am I, too.
Perhaps we have something in common, Mr. Holmes.
Perhaps we have. Would you join me for a cocktail at Pembroke House?
I should be delighted.
Good. Thank you.
I didn't know there was such a pleasant place in London. It was so nice of you to suggest our coming here.
I thought a little picking up would do us good.
You mean you thought I looked...
I like the way you look.
Thank you. I suppose I did lose my head a little at the Mesmer Club. But you see, hypnotism is almost a religion with me. I know so well what it can do to help and heal. And I can't bear to see it used for trivial purposes.
I know very little about it. That's why I went to the Mesmer Club. You see, I'm rather puzzled just now with the case that I'm working on.
How fascinating. Tell me about it.
It's the murder of Sir George Fennick.
Fennick? Who's he?
Quite a well-known figure. Odd now I come to think of it. Last time I saw Sir George was here at Pembroke House.
Strange.
Yes, isn't it? He was sitting, I believe he was sitting at this very table. Cigarette?
Thanks. Do go on.
There was a charming lady with him. He was lighting a cigarette.
Charming. Did you see her face?
Always like. Merely her back.
How unenterprising of you.
Yes, wasn't it? Afraid I'm getting a little older.
I shouldn't say so.
That's nice of you. Still, the first time in my life, I've got hold of a case that's beyond me. I'm actually losing sleep over it.
You know, Mr. Holmes, I believe I could help you.
Really? I should be very grateful.
You're amused.
Yeah. Really skeptical. How would you go about it?
I've used hypnotism more than once in healing. Not for profit. I'm not a professional. But I do think I could help you, if you cared to.
I can't think of a pleasanter experience. Music, is that all there is to it?
You must relax, Mr. Holmes. I'm afraid you're a rather difficult subject. So I thought perhaps a little help. Materia medica might be advisable.
Drugs? No, I'd rather not, if you don't mind.
As a matter of fact, I'd rather not myself. But Schrenk-Knudsen, he practiced in Munich, you know. Believed it the best means for difficult subjects. Do you mind?
Well, as a matter of fact, I don't approve of sedatives.
Just as you wish. We don't have to go on with this at all, you know.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. All right. I'll take a chance.
It's really quite harmless.
What is it?
Cannabis japonica, an oriental soporific. You need water. Feel yourself growing drowsy. Don't fight it. Give in to it. Because you do want to sleep, you know. Just fix your eyes on this one white flower, floating on the water. Empty your mind of every other thought. Follow the motion of the water. So smooth. Not a ripple. Waters of forgetfulness. Steady. Deep. Strong. Strange, isn't it? How the light is reflected. Little specks of light that move and move. It's restful. Peaceful. It's friendly. And you're very close to finding what you're looking for. You'll find them soon now. The guilty ones. When you're rested, gentle waters closing over you. Steady. Deep. Strong, drawing you down, down, down. Sleep, sleep. Here he is, Professor Moriarty. Stand up, Mr. Holmes. Open your eyes.
Face this way. Are you satisfied?
We are dealing with a clever man. He may be shamming. There's just one infallible test for profound hypnosis. You ready, Dr. Simnel? That will do, Doctor. He couldn't fake insensibility to the knife. I congratulate you, Lydia. Turn round, Mr. Holmes. Now walk to the desk. Sit down. Take that pen and write what I tell you to write. I have at last found a case which I cannot solve. I have outlived my usefulness. Therefore, I have decided to end my life. Sign your name. Now blot it. Fold it up. Put it in your pocket. Come, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Go out onto the terrace.
But it won't look like suicide, sir.
I'm sorry, but Mr. Holmes' injuries must all be self-inflicted. Let's walk a little, Mr. Holmes. It's so pleasant here in the garden. Just step up here onto the terrace. It's a nice, broad terrace. Now turn to the left. Walk slowly to the end of the terrace. Don't stop. You must walk to the end, you know. The end leads to an open doorway. You can pass through it in perfect safety. In the room beyond the doorway, you'll find what you've been looking for.
Must you drag this on?
This is the moment I've been anticipating for a long time, my dear. Go on, Mr. Holmes. Through the open doorway, you will find the man responsible for the finger murders and the death of Sir George FENIX. Professor Moriarty.
Holmes! Stand still!
What a beautiful view, Watson. I'm quite enjoying it.
No, you're not. You're hypnotized. You're under a spell. Stand still. Don't move. Steady, Holmes. Steady does it. Stand perfectly still where you are.
Nonsense, Watson.
But you don't know what you're doing.
Of course I know what I'm doing.
You mean you're not hypnotized?
Certainly not.
Then get off the wall, you idiot. Oh, look out! Holmes! What were you doing up there?
Holding the fort until you arrived. What kept you?
Well, I ran into a spot of trouble on my way to Scotland Yard. I was arrested for exceeding the speed limit.
Your luck seems to hold, Mr. Holmes.
I'd hardly call it luck, Professor. You see, I substituted a drug of my own for the one that this dear lady pressed on me.
You are clever, aren't you?
A drug that, although it leaves the subject conscious, renders him quite insensitive to pain. That accounted for my lack of reaction to Dr. Simnel's knife. Well, Gregson, quite an impressive haul. Even Inspector Lestrade himself couldn't have done any better.
Thanks, Mr. Holmes.
Take him away.
All right, put her in the van.
I was right, Mr. Holmes. You are a difficult subject.
Thank you. And now, Professor, our score is settled. Au revoir until I see you on the gallows.
The rope has not been made that'll go around my neck.
Come on.
Care of things, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, Inspector.
Come on.
An evil man, Holmes. What a horrible death.
Better than he deserved.
What are you thinking of?
I'm thinking of all the women who can come and go in safety in the streets of London tonight. The stars keep watching the heavens. And in our own little way, we too, old friend, privileged to watch over our city.
George Washington couldn't have crossed the Delaware without. Huh? Come on now, brace it up. Now here's Noah, the world's first sailor. Voyage, it rained for 40 days, every night. Hey, you kids will get us thrown out of here. Here's a sketch view of the mighty mariner, Sinbad, the greatest sailor in the whole world.
Uncle Popeye, you said you was the greatest sailor in the world.
Well, that's right. I once met Sinbad the sailor and knocked the tar out of him.
Tell us about it, Uncle Popeye.
Well, Sinbad lived on an island in the Pacific Ocean that was far, far away. Nobody can beat me.
Surprise! Peekaboo.
Now let me finish. Let me finish. There was the spinning and rolling towards the edge of the cliff and... boy that looks after the sheep. He's under the haystack, bounced asleep.
Who are you? And you. And you. I'm Little Bo Peep, and we're her sheep.
Alright, welcome back to the flight deck. We're coming up on our top of descent, so it's time to start checking the weather, checking a few things, and making sure we're all set up and ready to go. First off, let's get the latest weather update. And this is from 30 minutes ago. Winds are definitely still moving around to the south. There are currently 190 at 7 knots, greater than 10 miles visibility, few clouds at 4,500. Temperature is 27 degrees, and 1011 is the barrel. So we got 1011 in the standby. That is good, and we'll set this information in. So let's pop over here to our MCDU. We'll go to our approach phase. We'll put in the information. So 1011. We'll enter that in. We have a temperature of 27 degrees. It is hot in Buenos Aires. And 190 at 7 for the winds. We'll get that put in there. Transition level is 3,000 feet. That is fine. Now we're doing the RNP runway 17 approach, and we have a minimum of 550 feet. So we'll get that entered in as well. So let's go over to the flight plan and just confirm what we have here. So our arrival is the RNAV for 17, and we're coming on the Valos 8 Victor arrival. That is all good. Go back over to our performance page here. We're set up. So platform altitude we're going to be descending down to for the final glide path is 1,100 feet. So we'll set that in a few minutes. See, we're getting closer now. And we're basically going to be flying straight in and making a slight left-hand jog and then making the right turns around for the RNAV to land. There's another aircraft inbound. I think he is going to be possibly coming in behind us. We'll see how we do with that. But 17 is the runway we are going to be going for. So I'm going to remove that map now. We're going to go through these two waypoints.
We'll be starting our in-flight meal service. Please look in your seat back for our menu, and one of our crew members will stop by shortly for your orders. If you would like to order a
sure,
seasonal
why
menu
not?
item, please hit the flight attendant call button at any time, and we'll be over shortly with you.
I don't know why you're starting meal service just before we're about to start heading down, but that's fine. You guys are the professionals in the back. So upon landing, we're going to be parking at gate on the main terminal 5, 6, 7, 8 in that area of gates there. So Kevin, you know where we are now headed. And it's been a good fight. So we currently have 6.3 tons of fuel. No, that's not fuel. 4.6 tons of fuel on board. Everything is good. We're just over 2 hours of flight time now. And we are cruising along nicely. So on the board at Buenos Aires, there's 3 outbounds and 3 inbounds. Myself, Kevin, and the other one that is coming in from I don't know where he's coming in from. DGAA. But it's not too busy around Buenos Aires right now, so we are looking good. About 40 miles from top of descent. Once we pass through Egani, we'll set 1100 on our descent information. And we're just going to kick through it now. And we're on our way to Buenos. So we'll get that 1,100 feet in there. That is now set. Airport elevation, by the way, if anyone's interested, is 67 feet. Last little bit of the flight, we've been coming inland over some of the farm country here. Getting ready to come into the airport, which of course is located on the river, feeds out into the Atlantic. Got 31 miles to go. Just watching that countdown now. Again, it's been a very good flight. Weather's been fantastic. Few low clouds. But other than that, it is... Oh, there's the moon. It has been very good. We're 23 miles out. As we get ready for descending, once again, if you joined us late, if you want to join in on these flights and fly around the world and the different places we go to, you're more than welcome. Links to our Discord are in the description. You can find it there, and you can get the information to join us. So you're more than welcome. Our next flight is actually tomorrow, 1400 Zulu, and we are in Jeddah. And we're flying to Singapore in the 747 cargo airplane in support of the F1 series. So that'll be tomorrow's stream. That'll be a broken stream, so I'm going to stream the setup, takeoff, and climb the cruise, and then we'll end the stream, and then approximately 7.5 hours or so later, we'll restart the stream for our briefing and arrival into Singapore. And that allows me to get some stuff done without having to babysit the stream. And we will be on multiplayer for that one, so a little bit more relaxed, so we don't have to worry about ATC as much. So 12 miles to the top of the descent. I'm going to start down at about 5 miles out, and we'll do a slow descent until we pick up the path, and then we'll join in. How long have you had the stream muted, Kevin? You weren't listening to the funky tunes? Alright, so there's 7 miles. As soon as our countdown to TOD hits 5, I'm going to start our descent. Buenos Aires area traffic, Skyways 5556, leaving flight level 370, inbound for the Valos 8 Victor arrival for the RNAV runway 17, Buenos Aires. Alright, we're starting down. We'll go to about 1,000 foot descent rate, 1,000 feet per minute, and then we'll pick up our descent path in a little bit, and then we will increase our descent rate. There's the path coming down, and we'll peg 280 knots as we descend. We have no speed restrictions. We just have to be above 5,000 feet. And our SOT, the end of the arrival, we have to be above that. But that'll fine. It slots right into our arrival, our approach for the RNAV. Oh, you were doing the webinar. Okay. And you said you had a slot for that, right? When is that? That's in April, I believe. Early April? You have to tell me how they're doing the position reporting. I think they've gone to non-reporting, if I remember right. It's just entry and exit. Alright, so there's 280. So we're going to come over here and we're going to pick 280 knots. We'll use the speed brake to help us a little bit. Oh, you're going to westbound, Dublin to JFK, April 1st. What day of the week is that? Oh, it's next Saturday. Ah, you're gonna miss the. What time's your flight leave? You're gonna miss leg 2 of our tour here. See where we're flying on the next one. We go from Buenos Aires to Rio. Very nice. Yes, I know my speed brakes are out. I'm trying not to become a rocket heading downwards. See, if I go in on my speed brakes, you want to speed up, and I do not want that. What are you flying the A310 or which aircraft? Alright, so there's 26,000 feet. We will throw the seatbelts on in the back and let the cabin crew start getting set up and ready to go for our landing.
The flight crew has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. Please return to your seat and fasten your seatbelt.
Oh, 1509, yeah. These legs are about 2.5 to 3 hours roughly. So that's alright. You do what you gotta do. Alright, we're descending nicely. I'll come off the speed brake for a second, let it reset, then come back on the speed brake. is holding that speed at 280. And we'll give a position report over Valos. Buenos Aires area traffic, Skyways 5556 over Valos. Flight level 228. Inbound on the Valos 8 Victor, arrival RNAV 17 Buenos Aires. We're through 22,000 feet. Everything is looking very nice. Keep playing the speed brakes here. Try not to let her accelerate too much. A little bit thicker air. She seems to be holding that 280 a little bit nicer. Alright, we're going to be descending right down through transition without stop, so we'll switch over to local pressure. Yeah, I think we're going to beat that 777 in. Start to make out the water a little bit. So we're basically going up straight, and then we're going to make that turn there, and that's the turn onto the approach. Speed is creeping slightly. We'll ease that down. Back over to manual or manage speed. And that way it'll decelerate on its own as we get down there. The only question I have about the A310, are you able to time on waypoint, adjust your engines? So can you go in and say you want to be at waypoint back at this time, and it'll adjust your flight to get you there at that time? I'm thinking more for your entry into the NATS. Alright, we're pretty clear with other traffic. Taking another look at where, yeah, the other guy is pretty far away still. It's 13,000 feet. Airport's over here. Oh, that's good. Alright, so we have our arrival and weather data. It's all done. It's set. MCDU pages set. Radios are set. NTS not required. FCP is set. Altimeters are set. Missed approach. Climb straight ahead on runway track, and then we turn heading back to RSOT once we pass 3,000 feet. So that's all good. Now we're going to try to make the hotel taxiway, so we're going to set our auto brake to medium just to make sure we got enough setting. We have barrows set to local pressure. 10,000 feet is coming up, so lights are all going on. Seatbelts are on. We'll ding the cabin. Alright, we're slowing down. Yes, I know the speed limit's exceeded. We are slowing down.
We have begun our final descent into your destination. Flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to collect any trash one final time. Please ensure tray tables are stowed and seats are in the full upright position. Please also store any
Alright, our clean speed is 211.
All Wi-Fi related tasks and stow any larger electronics.
Approach mode is now on. Approach nav and alt final are set. As we come up to RSOT, we will go into approach phase, which will slow us to 211. As soon as we start to make the turn, we'll do that. I think that's the airport over there. It's through 8,000 feet. Come in now, and we will turn off the music. There's the turn. Approach phase is active. Should start slowing down to green dot speed. Buenos Aires area traffic, Skyways 5556 over RSOT 6,500. Inbound on the approach, RNAV, runway 17, Buenos Aires. Just going to give her a little bit of speed brake, help slow her down. Yeah, there's the airport. About 4 or 5 different airports in the area here. Looking good. There's 210 knots. That'll help slow us down. I am going to arm the speed brakes now. I don't think I'll be needing it again. Alright, everything is on. Last ding of the cabin. speed brakes armed, or ground spoilers armed, auto brakes set to 2. It's gear and flaps now.
Tráfico 0 Parque, Argentina 126, ocupa y despega pista 93, 227 la salida.
So there. It's 3,000. We do have a decel point coming up, so it should level us slightly to help with that. There we go.
2,500.
And let's get that speed below 230. There we go. Flaps 1. Coming down to S speed, about 187. Airport's just off our 1 o'clock. There's our turn, flaps 2. As soon as we roll level, we'll drop the gear. Runway, gear down. It's flaps 3. And 1,000 feet, flaps 1,000. Flaps full, gear down, 3 greens, ground spoilers armed, auto brakes set, lights are all on, cabin notified, landing memo, no blue. Seem to be slightly offset, although we do have a little bit of a wind that's probably fighting. It's 500 feet. I have control. Get ourselves nicely lined up now.
Tank rate. Pull up.
We're good.
Pull up.
30, 20, retard. 5.
Oh, that wind.
5.
And And there goes that taxiway. There's 60. Auto brakes off. Reversers off.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our destination. The local time is 2:03 p.m. and it's currently about 27 degrees Celsius. You can now
use
use your
runway
mobile
29.
device. Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign is turned off. Remember to use caution when opening the overhead bins, as items may have been shifted during the flight. We thank you for flying with us.
Buenos Aires area traffic, Skyways 5556, clear runway 17, taxiing to the apron via runway 29, Golf Delta. Yeah, I know I landed long. She floated. That wind didn't die off like I thought it was going to die off. Well, I didn't notice any stuttering or anything, so things seem to be working well with the FSUIPC little thing there. Oh, that's not golf. I don't know what that is. A weird little parking area. This is golf coming up. Alright, so we're going to go into parking spot, let's say 6. There's golf. Alright, so tiller can come on. You'll go off. You'll go off. You'll no. You stay on. You go off. So turn off this, and that can go off. And what parking spot did I say? I want 6. Oh. Alright, give me 7. Oh no, really? Kevin, that's horrible. Oh man. Yeah, that's really bad. I haven't had one of those for a while. So that's 9, 8, 7 will be around here. Well, I'm not seeing anyone at it. Don't even have scenery for that. I don't have scenery for this place. Let's pull in. Control yourself. There we go. Yeah, this is 100% default here. right. Welcome to Buenos Aires. So let's get that off. Come down, turn off our transponder. Come over to our ground services. Get our chocks and GPU in. There's our ground power is on, so the engines can now turn off. Make sure our taxi light is off. Beacon, fuel pumps are all off, and the flight directors are now off. Oh, just go away. All right, that is gonna do it. We're gonna deboard. We'll get the stairs out. We'll get the doors open in the back. There we are. Everyone is now deboarding. I don't know why GSX is being a bit of a pain. But that's going to do it for today. Thanks for joining us for the first episode of our circumnavigation of the Atlantic. Kevin, sorry to hear about your crash. That sucks. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow. 747 cargo, F1 support for the 2023 season. See you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye for now.